We're back, guys. Thank you all for joining us today for an awesome chat with an awesome US reseller, Harry Tornado Josh. Super pleased to have him back on the channel. He sort of helped us out with the auction a while back.
Yeah, the bushfire appeal. Yeah. That was a while ago.
Yeah, it was a while ago now. So
and he's done a lot since.
I've done a lot going on. I just wanted to say a quick thank you to everyone for the support you've sort of given us over the last week. We really appreciate all the comments on the video that we put out and the support you guys have given us. We didn't want to sort of pass over that before getting started because we were really thankful for your support. But we won't sort of touch on too much about that tonight. We just want to learn a bit more about Josh and his story and what's been happening for him. So we will bring Josh up, and hopefully if you guys have any questions along the way, drop them in the chat, and we'll try and bring them up for you as well. So without any further ado, let's get Josh on and have a bit of a chin wag. G'day, Josh. How are you?
Hey, what's up, guys? Doing well. How are you?
Great. Thank you. Thanks heaps for joining us. We really appreciate you giving up some of your time. And I also appreciate the $10 super chat. You definitely didn't have to do that. Did you do your best with your accent before we get started? Because I think that's probably the most important thing before we get cracking.
It's very important. Very. I can't explain how important it is. I don't know the difference between British and Australian. They're so similar, but very different. But
yeah, that was a posh Aussie.
Yeah, I was very, very posh Aussie. But yeah, you dropped a mate beforehand, and that was pretty spot on. So it's good to have you here. I'm just going to say a quick hello to a few people in chat. I know some people have come over from your channel as well. So thanks everyone for coming along. SD Thrifted Treasures is in. That's a new one to the channel. So thanks for being here. Books and Stuff is an Aussie. So a lot of Aussies know your channel. And if you guys haven't subscribed to Josh, the link is in the description as well. We have Brum Reseller from the UK. Mum's in the house, so she's here.
Well, that's good.
Jessie Lee, Gay Napier, Diver Flipper, another great Aussie. Raucous Reg, Thrifty Pixie, Kirsty, Thrifter.me, Look Mom Hustling, it just jumped, Flippin' Sydney, Ricky Lee. We missed a bunch of people, Sam, but thank you all for being here. John, Charlie, and our boy Robbie as well. So we won't sort of spend too long saying g'day to everyone because we've got heaps of questions for Josh.
G'day all.
Yeah, g'day to everyone. So just a quick introduction to yourself. So just give everyone that maybe hasn't stumbled across your channel and your journey a little bit of a synopsis of how you sort of got into reselling and how things have really exploded for you over the sort of last 12 months, I'd say. So just a quick overview.
So I've been thrifting and like the whole idea of like reselling and buying low, selling high has been like a passion of mine, even subconsciously from when I was like a really little kid. I remember when we had this thing at our school, like a fundraiser where we were selling wrapping paper to like raise money for, I don't know, something. And I was like probably 10 or 11 at the time. And I was trying to think of ways to like entice people to buy. I was like, I was talking to my mom. I was like, okay, what if we go to the store and get like boxes of pens and say that like if they buy 2 rolls of paper, they get a free pen. And she's like, that's a dumb idea. It's never going to work. But like, it was dumb, but it's just cool to like think back that I was like already thinking about like the business and like, and
a little hustler.
Yeah. So I really think people are born, to either you're an entrepreneur or you're not. Like, I guess you can kind of learn to be better, but the best entrepreneurs are definitely born into it. So I started, always thrifting, buying stuff at thrift stores for personal use. I occasionally got into flipping stuff on Facebook Marketplace. Like, I think I bought a stroller one time at Goodwill for like $10 and sold it on Facebook for 40. And I thought that was like the coolest thing ever. And this was probably 5 years ago. I actually had a furniture flipping business before where I would, get dressers and stuff and sand them down, paint it, stain the top and sell those. And that was just a lot of work. You'd spend 10 or 12 hours on one piece and you'd, have 40 or $50 into it by the time you factor in the cost of the piece plus your materials and everything. And then you'd make like 50, so in some pieces I made less than that. So I was like, I had the idea going, I just needed a way to kind of polish it and make it something that you actually turn into a business. So, I started going to Goodwill and buying stuff after I saw a Rally Roots video. And I was like, if they can do that, I can do that. So I bought all the Tommy Bahama shirts I could find and quickly learned that was not quite the way to do it. But I was just consistent. I was excited about the business. I kept going to thrift stores. I kept listing. I kept watching other resellers on YouTube, like learning from them and their mistakes and what was working for them. And I started selling eBay Halloween of 2018. So it's been almost exactly 2 years.
Wow.
And you can see where I am now, a suspended eBay store and a pretty successful YouTube channel.
60,000 subs. I think that's
Doing
pretty
right.
massive. You're doing some great work, and I enjoy your content because you show like your whole journey, and you talk a lot about, not only that, you're making a little bit of income from your reselling business, but how YouTube is helping you sort of grow and sustain your business alongside, working to sort of grow the business as you go. So yeah, I think like the transparency on your channel is awesome, and we will sort of talk about that a little bit later on. And I think you're naturally just a sort of a person that a lot of people warm to because you just share your life, the good, the bad, and you are currently suspended on eBay. So we'll have a quick chat about that in a second. I just want to say a quick thank you to Diary Flipper for the $7.99 super chat.
Thank you, Brad.
Thanks, Brad.
You've been too kind this week.
Yeah, one of our great friends. So let's talk a little bit about the suspension because that's a hot topic at the moment. And I know a few people in Australia that have copped some Veros, ourselves included, lately.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to chat a little bit about that. So a couple of days ago now, you essentially got an email saying that an item had been pulled. Do you want to sort of talk a little bit about that for those that haven't seen that video?
So when an item is when the person who owns the rights of that item files a Vero claim, basically two things could happen. The item just gets pulled down and you get an email from eBay saying as a warning, we removed this listing, blah, 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 nothing's going to happen. Or they'll remove the listing and then you get an account suspension. Usually the first time it's like 3 days, then 7 days. I always thought it was 3, 7, and then indefinite. But the guy at eBay I talked to yesterday said it could be, you could have a 10-day suspension, 30-day, 60-day, 90-day. It's really up to their discretion, I don't think the eBay Vero program is bad in itself. I just think it's extremely just loosely put together. Like if you're going to have a system that allows you to completely remove someone's eBay store from the website, it doesn't need to be so, I shouldn't get separate answers from different people I'm talking to.
Yeah.
Like there should be definitive rules about what is or what isn't a Vero. And I feel like sometimes it's just whatever the flavor of the day is.
Yeah.
And I get it that the whole purpose of Vero is so eBay doesn't have to be involved in any type of litigation. Like if there's fake products, eBay's like, okay, cool, we'll pull it. That's great. My issue is that I don't think our account should be suspended. Like unless you're selling like blatantly like faked items every single day, then that, of course. But somebody like, I've got almost 1,300 positive feedback, 100% positive feedback. I've never had a negative. I have, but I've had them all removed. Somebody like me with a very good selling history on eBay, one counterfeit book and they suspend me for 3 days and take off my entire store. I'm like, it just doesn't, the punishment doesn't fit the crime,
It's huge, isn't it? It's like one thing that you said in your live and something that we sort of spoke to the guy down here that had his issue as well was, why can't eBay sort of give you a warning when you're listing the item? Like if that's part of the Vero item, tell us up front and we won't list it. And then if we do list it, then we are trying to be dodgy. Do you know what I mean? Like, give us a bit of notice so that we can do the right thing, because there's no one in the world that's going to understand every single Vero item that's on eBay. Like it's impossible. So
I think what got me to Vero with that textbook, because I've actually been emailing the company that gave me the Vero wasn't the publishing company. It was a company that handles counterfeit claims for every publishing company pretty much. So I actually emailed them. I thought I was going to waste my time, but they actually responded and they've been pretty helpful. They said that McGraw-Hill and a couple of other textbook company publishers are trying to get a PDF file together to share with resellers so you can more easily determine if books and software copies and stuff are legit, which is going to be super helpful. I'm like, okay, at least you're trying to do something. And they asked if I had any other copies left. I was like, I got 2. And they asked me to send it to them. They were going to pay shipping. They're going to send me a prepaid label, send the 2 books. They would look at them, and if those were real, they'd send them back, and I could sell them. Yeah, and they just said that they had evidence that one of the books I sold was counterfeit. And they said usually, if you buy them, I told them how I bought them all at the same Dream Deals. I sent them a link to the YouTube video that shows, because they're like, do you have proof that you got them at the store? I'm like, yeah, I've got a YouTube video with 180,000 views that you clearly see me get that book at that store. So they've actually been really responsive. I've talked to 2 people at that store, and they said, thank you for cooperating with us. And since you're willing to send the books back, we can email eBay and let them know that they can take this Vero off your account. So
yeah, right.
In that situation, it clearly, like they said, if the books are real, you can sell them. So I'm like, okay, that's awesome. But why? What evidence do you have?
Yeah, exactly.
Unfortunately, you've already been punished.
Yeah, you've been punished before you've been proven guilty almost.
Yeah.
And that's what Frank's saying there is, how did they determine the book was counterfeit? Did they give you any information what they were sort of looking for at all, or just
plain? Not at all. The craziest story, I had somebody, I think it was on Instagram, they messaged me and they said they had a Vero for like these gummy vitamins or something, and they claimed they were fake. So they had like 3 or 4 extra that they hadn't sold yet. So they called the company that gave them a Vero and pretended to be a customer. And they said, hey, I found these gummies. I think the person that sold me to them, I think they're fake. Can you tell me how to authenticate them? They told them that he went over the label and the expiration date and the seal, and they said that was an authentic product. He's like, great. You just gave me a Vero on eBay because this was inauthentic. So who can I talk to at your company to, correct this issue? And he said their tone completely changed. They're like, oh, we'll have to have someone contact you back at a later date, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I get it. Like, if a product is truly counterfeit, it should not be able to be sold on eBay. 100% agree. I don't think anybody would not agree with that.
No.
But the problem is when companies take down products claiming they're counterfeit, but they're not. And the only reason they're taking it down is so they can get rid of their competition on eBay as a selling platform.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest issue with Vero.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And it's something that I think, like, putting a video out like you've done and sort of talking about in the community, the more people that see that sort of stuff, the more pressure that gets put onto eBay to actually like work with sellers or even the Vero partners to sort of, be a bit more, sane in the way they go about these things, because no one, unless you are, one of the people that are legitimately trying to scam people, the rest of us are on here trying to, make a little bit of a living and supplement an income. We're not intentionally going out to sell fake products. So I think they need to get sort of a little bit more on the level of the sellers and understand that people make mistakes and people don't know the difference between, like, those books. There was no way I would be able to tell. And Jazzy's worked in a actual textbook store before, and when we look at them, she was like, they look good to me. Like, I couldn't tell the difference.
Yeah, I sold 8 of them, and I think I've got positive feedback on 6 out of the 8, and the other 2 they just didn't leave any feedback. Wow. So people have been very satisfied. But I don't know. And there's a couple of people that in the chat and people comment on the video saying, if an item is Vero, eBay should just stop me from listing it. But the thing is, there's something, I don't know if it's just a US based thing or if it's like international, but in the US it's called, I think, first sale doctrine. And it's basically just like, if you own something and that's genuine and you've legally obtained it, you have the right to sell it. Like, a company can't sell you something and then stop you from selling it at a later date. That's illegal. Yeah. Yeah. So I think that's why eBay can't stop you from listing that textbook, because that would be illegal, because they can't stop you from, you can sell anything you want as long as it's, not a firearm or, something like that on eBay. But so I get it that would be easier, but even the publishing company, that the company themselves said that as long as the book is real, you can sell it. I think what triggered them was that I had sold so many and I still had like 2 in stock. I'd sold 8, still had 2 in stock. They said usually if they're found in bundles like this, they're counterfeit. So I think if you just had 1 book, or maybe even 1 or 2, honestly, and just sold those on separate listings, you wouldn't draw as much attention to yourself. I don't know.
Definitely. Blood, Sweat, and Searle has dropped us $2.99. Hello to Josh. Thank you very much for the super chat.
I love seeing these new names. They're always clever.
Some Aussies in the chat as well, which is awesome. Thanks everyone for coming along. We have a question. With your account suspended, what are you doing in the meantime? Do you have other sites you are selling on besides eBay? What is your contingency for the future? So you're sort of reevaluating a lot of things now that you've had this sort of Vero as well. You're sort of looking at other options.
Not really. I am incredibly lucky to have my YouTube channel to kind of fall back on. I made my video last month or whenever it was about my income. It's no secret how much money I'm making in all aspects of my business. So honestly, I went thrifting today. I drove up to Charlotte, North Carolina, and picked up some weights that my wife ordered online and hit a couple thrift stores, made a video. And I mentioned in the video yesterday about the Vero, like I'm just sharing this to like let everybody know what's going on. Like it's not a big deal for me. Like a bunch of people are like, you know, keep your chin up. It's going to be okay. I'm like, yeah, I'm incredibly blessed because this is just, it's actually awesome. Like I made more money this week from getting a Vero and getting my account suspended than I would have if it wouldn't have happened. You know, between the live video and the super chats and the video I posted yesterday, I'm in a very blessed situation. So it's not, I'm not worried about it all. I was curious about what was going to happen. And obviously I don't want my eBay store to be permanently banned. So I'm not going to just be careless with it. But I also realized that the vast majority of other resellers are not in my situation. There's a bunch of people out there that sell on eBay full time and they completely depend on that to support their families. So I want to use my situation to contact eBay and figure out what's going on and contact these publishing companies and see, is there a way we can stop this from happening to people where it's a much larger deal for them personally?
Yeah, definitely. And you sort of mentioned just quickly there, I picked up on you saying like, you know, you've got eBay as an income and then you've got your YouTube channel, which is, you know, very successful and growing every day. So we wanted to sort of touch on that a little bit. Transparency. So we try to be as transparent as we can. We've sort of shared our numbers literally from zero
our first $20.
Our first $20 sale to where we are today. And you also do like very similar things. You know, you went through your breakdown of your YouTube and, you know, how you're making money from that as well
different
as your business.
Income streams.
Yeah. Do you think that's like a really important part about putting yourself out there on YouTube and sort of, do you get much sort of trolls, I guess, in that sort of sense?
The criticism.
Yeah. Do you get criticism?
I don't think so. I don't know. I think there's other resellers that are like in my same tier. Like I like Rally Root share their numbers, not all the time, but like they made their YouTube video last year. And I don't know, there's other guys that are about my same caliber or whatever. And they don't really share their numbers at all as far as YouTube. They don't really share their eBay numbers like Garage Flips and Cincinnati Picker. So I don't know. And YouTube's different. Like they may not be making the same amount of money as me, but generally in reselling videos, you're going to make close to the same amount. So I don't think I don't think they want their audience knowing that they make more money on YouTube than they do reselling, because I think people are afraid that if that happens, people are automatically going to think that you're not like, oh, you just make money on YouTube, so you're not an authority in reselling anymore. I'm like, well, I still resell. I mean, I do pretty well with it. I make mistakes. I get Veros. I'm just, you know, I don't focus 100% of my time and energy on eBay because it doesn't make sense from a business standpoint. Maybe at first, if you first start a YouTube channel, you should Art Vandelay, the guy that I gave a shout out to the other day. I talked to him. I was like, don't focus on YouTube right now. Like just be consistent, go back to one upload a week and just focus on eBay because you're not making money on YouTube yet. But once you build it up and you can make like over the last 3 days, I've made over $400 a day on YouTube. And I mean, it's insane. It's absolutely crazy. And I feel free about sharing that. I don't know. The only hiccup I've ever had with sharing that is like, I don't want to put pressure on other people to like force them to share. Yeah. But I don't know. I just feel like people are curious. You know, I remember watching a video from Lonnie at Garage Flips and somebody asked him how much money he made on YouTube. And I think he had like 30,000 subscribers at the time. And he said, I make just enough for it to be worth my time. And I'm like, at the time I was like, oh, I guess that's right. But now I'm like, dude, no, he's making way more money than that. They just don't want to tell you, you know? So I don't understand
as well.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's an important part. Like, obviously we're still very, very small in like the YouTube community, and Australia's growing massively, which is awesome to see. But, you know, I think it is an important part. Obviously in future, we hope to incorporate that as part of our business, but currently it pretty much pays for our StreamYard fee. So except for these awesome super chats that come through from people like Big Drift.
Thank you.
Hello from over Alaska. I received a Vero from eBay and then a second Vero a year after. I removed the offending product from eBay. Unreal.
A year?
Yeah, that's
the Vero we had last week was for a sold item. We'd already shipped it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually, eBay sent me the Vero and they said they removed my listing. And then the day I was making all my sales for my live stream, I sold another one of those books. what the heck? You're supposed to remove the listing. So I canceled the order. I'm like, sorry, I'm not going to sell this again. And then today, when they started adding listings back to my store, they added the listing back to my store again for that book.
No
Somebody
way.
messaged me on Instagram. She's like, I see that book's still listed. You should probably take it down. I'm like, what is going on? This is the second time I've heard this.
eBay are like legitimately trying to ruin you.
Yeah, they're trying to like lure me in with like, oh, you didn't take it down. I did. And they just keep putting it back up.
That's crazy. Thanks, Pat, for the $5 super chat. Nice to see Josh hanging with Brad and Jazz. Love the networking. Yeah.
We love the social aspect.
Yeah, definitely. We're super glad to have Josh on. And we did want to thank you for your participation in the bushfires as well, which is sort of what initially got us involved with you as well. So thank you for joining us on that stream. It was really cool to see everyone get involved.
Absolutely. I remember when that was going on, we're like, this is definitely the worst thing that's going to happen in 2020 for sure.
Nope.
And now I saw this girl, she did a YouTube video where it was like explaining the pandemic to herself. And it was like herself talking to her. It was like her April self talking to her February self. And her February self was like, yeah, the bushfires in Alaska, that's terrible. And her April self was like, what? Oh yeah, that did happen. Like it was terrible. And then everything just kept getting worse and worse and worse.
Yeah, it's been
America's had its own really bad bushfires now, and just this year needs to end, I think.
Yeah, I think we all need a bit of a hard reset, and hopefully 2021 is a lot better. But
I mean, hopefully.
Thanks, Dove. Flipper Brad.
Just above Pat as well, I just want to highlight this one. Just want to say thanks to Josh for helping me and my wife start and grow our business.
Yeah, and that's I guess, was that sort of part of the motivation behind starting a YouTube channel, was to try and help other people? Obviously, you're in a position where, you know, your job ended up finished, and you're sort of in a position where you had to sort of make things work. Was YouTube a way of sort of giving people knowledge that they could start their own business as well?
Yeah, absolutely. When you start a YouTube channel, like when you start, money should never be a focus, because it's going to be so long until you make money. Like I've worked hundreds and hundreds of hours for free on YouTube to get to where I am today. So when you start a YouTube channel, if you want to put in the time and energy and creativity that it takes to make compelling YouTube videos that help people, that needs to be your focus. Your focus just needs to be, you know, sharing your experience and your mistakes and your things that go well for your business, and you know, learn and grow. I'll go back and watch some of my older videos now, like, and critique myself. I'm like, oh, why did I buy that? I bought that a year and a half ago, and it's still sitting in my garage listed because it's a dumb purchase, you know. So
I think the good thing about that is as well, you can sort of see how far you've come. Like we look back at our first videos, and I'm like, firstly, our videos was in the wrong like aspect, so it was like up and down instead of sideways.
This portrait.
And also the stuff that you pick up now versus what you're picking up then, like you can see how far you've come and how much quicker things are selling and how better you become at sourcing. So I think it's good for yourself as well, because you can look back and go, man, you know what? I am improving every day, which is awesome. And that comes from the people around you, the community that you get involved with, and the networking that you do. So
yeah, just the whole like documentation of the process. Like I went back and watched my video that I made right after I was laid off from my job. And I watched the whole thing, and I was just talking about how I want to try this. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm excited. I'm scared. And it's just really cool to be able to have that to go back on and see, you know, where I am now. And it's happened with everybody, and everybody that's had a YouTube channel for such a long period of time. You can go back and watch their first video or their older videos, and you can see how they've grown. So I think that the two important aspects of starting a channel is to help people share. You don't want to share too much, obviously, but share helpful tips and maybe be an entertainer or whatever. I think my channel is more focused on the entertainer aspect of it than the helpfulness, because I've only been reselling for 2 years. I don't know. Most people know more than I do. So I just try to share a little tip here and there, and just try to give resellers something to watch while they list, pretty much. And that's worked out for me.
It's company.
Yeah, I think those sort of like those initial years of reselling, like we've only been in 3 years, so we're still learning every single day. But I think sharing that journey helps newer people learn as well, because you look at like really big channels, and obviously they've moved on to bigger deals and different ways of sourcing. Whereas when you're small, you're sort of going into op shops, or
garage
as you call them, thrift stores, and you're sort of building your business that way and learning together. So I think there's massive validity in sharing that. And Look Mom, I'm Hustling do very similar videos where they're sort of sharing, you know, from ground up their journey, which is awesome. So they're also saying disagree. 2020 was the best year ever. I think there have been some massive advantages of 2020. Obviously, online sales have picked up. Well, especially here in Australia. I don't know for you guys as well. Has that been a massive shift?
Yeah, I mean, back in like April, May, it was booming. I think everybody was like probably 200 to 400% over their sales for that period that last year. And I think Q4 is going to be pretty good this year. I don't think people are going to go out like Black Friday shopping or go into the malls and things like that. So I think online shopping is going to be good if you're selling the right things. I don't think people are going to buy used or vintage items as much, but if you fill your store with new in-box items that aren't going to get you a Vero, I think you're going to see some pretty good sales this Q4.
That aren't going to get you a Vero.
Yeah. So I did want to touch on a little bit about your sourcing opportunities because I've been watching a few of your videos and
yelling at the TV.
Getting I'm like, man, I wish I had that overstock store, that Dream Deals and the pallets that you've been picking up from Goodwill. So
I'm going to America and shipping back a shipping container.
I was like to Jazz, I'm going to America. I'm going to meet up with some people and I'm going to ship back a shipping container because in Australia we don't really have those massive stores. We have a couple Savers here, which is amazing, but we don't have big Goodwills. We don't have like Amazon overstock. Amazon's quite small here in Australia.
The first time I saw you there, I didn't understand. I was like, where is he? What's he doing?
I want to share a little bit of the first video. I'll try and make sure the sound doesn't come up. But if you want to sort of talk to it as I sort of scroll through and sort of give us Aussies a bit of an understanding of what's going on. So essentially these are, it's like a return overstock. Is that what?
Yeah. So I thought it was mostly returns, but the owner corrected me on this video. This video used to be called "This Amazon Return Store is a Gold Mine," and he's like, "Can you change that to overstock?" Because it's when you think of returns, it's just like a really negative connotation. Like everything's open and broken, and there is a lot of open and broken stuff here. But I'd say most of the stuff is new sealed. It just might be fake, So there's a lot of good stuff, but. Just with this store, like you can find some good stuff. I still have that Brad stall. I haven't sold that yet, but that should sell for like I think I have it listed for like $32 or something.
Yeah.
But like all those thermometers, those orange boxes right there, I sold all those. I got that one. I think those all sold for like $40. I sold that board game. Everything in the store is $6, by the way. That board game sold last week for $57,
wow.
$56 or $57. And it was listed for about a month. I think this video was posted a month and a half ago.
Yeah, about that. Yeah.
So it's a cool store. I don't really know exactly where they get it from because it's not all returned items, and I don't really know what overstock means. It's not like Amazon runs out of room and they just give the stuff away for free, So I don't really know exactly where it comes from, but you can find some really good stuff here. I feel like I need to be more transparent. Like to get good stuff, you have to wait in line early. You have to be one of the first people in the store because most of the good stuff is going to be bigger items in general. Like all those board games where everybody grabbed those board games. Like the most of the board games I've picked up in the last couple of weeks were grabbed within the first 2 minutes of the store opening because they're sitting on top.
Yeah.
Some of the smaller items you can do, like those cell phones that I found 2 cell phones. Those are probably the best things I found. I sold one to a viewer for $230, and then the other one I have listed on eBay for $249, and both of those were $6 a piece. So
that's crazy.
Brad's getting agitated. Just
I'm like, man, that's so crazy. Like I saw the lineup, I was like, that's so many people. It's like how surely it's going to get cleaned out, but there's just so much stuff there that you just have to dig, right?
Yeah.
Like you have to.
If you like, so tomorrow I'm going back tomorrow, but I'm actually just gonna like not source anything. I'm just gonna like film there, like kind of like as an employee. Like I just want to like walk around and like watch everybody else and see what they find. But if you watch people, most people will come up and dig for 10 seconds and then move to another bin. Like very few people just pick a bin and dig all the way down to the bottom. And I guess it's just based on your personal preference. If I've tried both. I've tried digging down to the bottom of a bin and then moving on. And I've tried just literally running as fast as I can, just looking like visibly looking at the top of everything, trying to see stuff. And I found good things both ways. So I don't know.
That's really cool. It's cool to see that sort of stuff, those things that we don't really have access to. And then you're like, oh man, that would be so cool. But the flip side of it as well is America, there's a lot more competition, right? So you have to be there early, you have to do the work to make sure you're getting that product. Whereas in Australia, although it is getting more and more competition every day, a lot of the time you can walk into a thrift store, and I found a Harley Davidson jacket on the middle of a Saturday at midday, which in America wouldn't happen, right? It would be gone first thing in the morning. So there is pros and cons of living in Australia, but seeing stuff like that, you're like, man, that is so cool. Like, I wish I had access to that. So thanks for sharing that with everyone, because man, it gets my envy up, and I'm just like, I can't wait to go to the US, which maybe in a couple of years time when everything's slowed down, we'll get to come over and meet up with some people. So
the other big difference is they're so happy for you to film in there. They ask you to come film people, film inside the store.
These come like, I've never been asked to stop filming. I've never asked for permission to film, but I've never been asked to stop. And I don't understand why companies don't want you to film. Like this guy at Dream Deals, the owner of Dream Deals, he sent me an eBay message the other day. It was like a screenshot of the video, and it was like 160,000 views. He's like, dude, this is crazy. I'm like, yeah. Can you believe so many companies that like have businesses don't want people to film? I'm like, they have no idea the PR that they're missing out on. Like,
absolutely.
Every time I go to Dream Deals, there's people like, hey, I came from Georgia, I came from Pennsylvania, came from Florida because I saw your video. I'm like, hey, Ron, that's the guy that owns Dream Deals. Like, Ron, you see these people? They drove from Pennsylvania because of me. Like, he probably owes me like 10 grand in referral fees right now.
Yeah, I think that's one big thing. Like, we've had one thrift store that's asked us to not film there.
Not only to not film, to not mention them.
Name,
don't say their name. Say we got this at an op shop.
And I was like, why would you not want us to promote you? Like, if we're coming in and we're picking stuff off the rack and paying the original price that you're asking for, that could only benefit your business, because more and more people are going to be like, oh, let's go op shopping. Like, let's go buy stuff, which op shops is thrift stores.
As long as it's painted in a positive light, I don't understand why they would be opposed to it.
Yeah,
we had quite a long conversation because we were just confused, and that's okay. We just don't do that anymore.
I think there's some businesses that are a little bit behind the times and haven't really caught up with like the social media aspect, and like understanding that if they like give a little to some people and you know engage other people, they could build their business hugely. So
absolutely, it's a policy fear. That's the policy, and we're like, but why is it the policy?
I think a lot of like, I don't know, middle-aged people and above have a very negative connotation about, or negative idea about YouTubers. Like, they think of YouTubers as like Logan Paul, like pranksters that are just going to make like vulgar videos and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, it's a reselling video. I'm going to wear my GoPro and shop and do a voiceover and film the way out. That's it, you know? So I don't know. But like I said, I've learned not to ask for permission, because if you ask for permission, they're just going to, let me talk to a manager, or I don't know. We're not comfortable with that. So I just walk in, camera blazing, and wait.
My biggest fear when I first started filming was garage sales, because I'm like going to people's houses and I was like, yeah, funny. And I've only had one person ask me, they're like, oh, is that a GoPro? And I was like, yeah. And they're like, oh, that's cool. And I was like, oh, like, that's not a big deal. So it's
people ask, but at garage sales, they're like, what's the camera for? Or like, I'll hear them like, that guy had a GoPro on, and then I'll get to explain what it is. But nobody's ever asked me to stop. I looked at basically in the United States, as long as you're in public, you can film whatever you want. I think the only time I would probably ask to film is at an estate sale, since that's like in somebody's house. Like if it's like an in-house estate sale where you're walking around their house, that you might want to ask for permission there, because that if they wanted to sue you or something, then I could have a claim. But if you're in public at a garage sale, on somebody's yard, or at a thrift store, people have asked me why I don't blur out faces. I'm like, because that's a lot of work and I don't have to. You know?
Yeah, definitely. It is a lot of work. Quick question from Jacqueline. I love reading books. Do you promote listings? If yes, do you do them in a suggested ad rate? Leave that one with you, Josh.
I don't typically promote anything. The only time I would ever promote something is if it's like a new inbox item and there's 30 different listings for it on eBay, and they're all all the prices are about the same. Like that your listing is just going to get lost in translation. Like If you have somebody looking for that item, they have 30 different people to buy from. You've got to have some reason for them to click on yours other than that. So I might promote those a little bit, but I really just don't. I just don't that much. And as far as the percentage, I don't know. I usually just do what they say if I'm going to promote something.
Yeah.
Do you tend to follow eBay's suggestions for like fast shipping time and offering express post, or do you ignore all of that?
I do for the most part. I have 1 day handling time set up right now, but I'm actually thinking about changing that to 2 day handling time, because I don't think people think people would notice, honestly. Like I don't really know how to get all my shipping, all my listings on eBay to say fast and free. Mm-hmm. I think it's just a random, like you just do free shipping and then eBay just puts fast and free on it sometimes.
Once again, there's no rule.
Well, in Australia, in Australia there is like, so we've got eBay Plus over here, which is them trying to be Amazon. Prime kind of thing, right? And to get eBay Plus, you have to offer 0 to 1 day handling, free postage plus an express option. So we do all those things. But yeah, I don't really know the American metrics. So it's interesting to see how people do things differently and how they sort of, I
think it's just boost your seller level. Like if you offer like 1 day handling time, free shipping and free returns, you get like top rated seller plus bronze or something, but really just a bunch of stars or whatever after your username. I don't think people care. I don't know. People like free shipping and free returns. Some things I do free shipping on. I don't know. I really just haven't figured out what I want to do. I definitely don't have a system for everything. Like really it's anytime I list something, I think about what I want to do with that item, but I do at least 1 day handling time on everything now, thinking about changing that to 2. And I do, I don't do free returns at all. If somebody wants to return something, they have to pay return shipping.
Yeah, it's interesting to see how everyone does things slightly differently, and people have success doing both options. So, we try and do everything eBay wants you to do, because we feel like when they're I've had 7 or 8 phone calls in the last 8 weeks about eBay Plus, because they're like, you got 1,500 listings that aren't eBay Plus. Can you transfer them over? I'm like, it's not always possible to offer free shipping. So. Yeah,
you're asking too much, guys.
Hey, Bearded Thrift Machine, thanks for being here.
Such a good name.
Hey, Dwayne, thanks for dropping in. Good to see you. The other big thing that you've been picking up a lot of lately is Goodwill, those pallets, which again blew my mind. So initially they were $50 or $40 if you left the pallet, right? And then you picked up a whole bunch for $25. Is that right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's good. You've done your research. So yeah, they were $50. Actually, a girl on Instagram messaged me one day and she's like, hey, the Goodwill in St. Andrews Road, was like 10 minutes from my house, has these sealed boxes for $50 and they're $40 if you can unload them and unload them into your car and leave the pallet and box. I'm like, even if it's filled with junk, that would make a good YouTube video, So I bought one, opened it up, and that was probably one of the best ones I found. Like I found those 2 stereo receivers that are worth like $300 a piece, which I still haven't even listed. I'm so bad about listing big stuff. But it was just a lot of good stuff. So I went back and bought another one, found some good stuff. And then I went back and bought a third one. So I did 3 in one day, made that one video. I think it's got like 150,000 views or something.
Wow. That's amazing.
I got a lot of hate comments because at that point I didn't have a lot of room and I didn't want to have a yard sale. So I'm like, I'm just going to go through these and pull out what I want for eBay and just throw everything else away, because it's really just junk anyway. It was like a bunch of kitchen utensils or like broken, dirty plastic stuff. Like it wasn't, for the most part, they weren't good items. So I was just, taking the good stuff and throwing it away, and people were like, I can't believe you throw that away. Somebody could use that. I'm like, I guess, sorry. So I actually took it to the Salvation Army because I didn't want to redonate the junk back to Goodwill, because
it's not useful
to them selling the boxes is because they can't sort through everything. And then I didn't want to put it back in another box and then I'd buy it later. So I took one of the loads to Salvation Army to donate, and I backed up to the door and they saw everything. They're like, ugh. I'm like, I can just throw it in the dumpster over there. Do you want me to do that? And they're like, we can't tell you to do that, but we're going to go in here. I'm like, all right.
But if the lid happens to come open and some stuff goes in there, then that's okay.
Was it worth it? Would you do it again, knowing that you end up with all the junk?
So I don't know. They've been a huge blessing. Like we've got good stuff. We've made a ton of money on them. We still have 5 to open. So, you know, who knows what we can find in those. But it is a ton of work. I cannot. I don't even know how I did 3 in one day, honestly. Like going there, unloading, taking it home, unloading, going to the dump, going back, getting another one, unloading it, going to the dump. Literally 3 trips in one day. I was exhausted. And now I do like 1 a week, if that. And I'm like, this is way too much.
I think that's a really good point. I just picked up on you saying like the work behind the scenes. Like obviously as YouTube creators and resellers, like there's so much stuff that happens to get that video out to people so they can view it. There's all the filming of it, there's all the cut, there's all the B-roll. And then you've also got to run a successful reselling business. So do you want to talk a little bit about your sort of standard day? So say you get up in the morning, what's your process throughout the day to make all this stuff happen?
So it really, I don't have any systems in place, I guess. I just, whatever I need to get done, I kind of do it. Honestly, I'm not really a morning person. I do wake up early, but it takes me a long time to get going. So I'll drink a cup of coffee, watch. I really like Graham Stephan on YouTube. So I'll watch like whatever video he posted the day before. I'll see if there's any other videos that are popping up that I'll like to watch while I kind of wake up for the day. Then I'll usually start doing my shipping for the day and whatever I need to work on for YouTube. I don't know if I'm ever going to get to the point where I do a YouTube video every day, like Graham Stephan.
So hard.
And then there's like, I don't know if you guys, his name's Meet Kevin. He does like financial videos in the US based on like the stimulus package, but he does 4 videos every day. He works every day from 5 a.m. to 2 p.m. and he film edits and uploads 4 videos in that 9-hour time. 9 hours? Is that 9 hours?
Can't imagine.
Time period. But he makes between $750,000 and $1 million a month from YouTube.
Wow.
And he's been on like interviews about like his work ethic. He's like, I love it. I used to try to take Saturdays off and I hated it. So now I just, instead of taking a day off, I just stop working at 2 every day. I'm like,
yeah, I think there are different levels of sort of being able to, you know, push through for long periods of time without sort of like burning out and getting like, you know, bogged down and stuff. So it's interesting to see those people that could just keep pushing and keep pushing and keep pushing. And
yeah,
you definitely.
I mean, if you like really love your job, like love what you do, I guess I could understand it to a point. But I mean, if I have the ability to make $1 million in 1 month, like I'm not gonna work every day. Like I'm not gonna make 4 videos I'm not gonna keep doing that. Like I don't know. I have a very simple lifestyle. Like I don't really buy expensive things, you know. So
yeah,
I don't know. I guess it could change. You know, if you get like the more money you make, I've always heard the more money you make, the more money you'll want to make. Yeah. And right now, that's not really the case. Like I did last month. Well, I don't want to share the exact YouTube numbers last month, but we made a lot of money on YouTube last month. And October, like under normal circumstances, you'd think that if you had a really good month, you'd want to make even more money the next month. But I like took a week off the beginning of October. I had like 6 days in between uploads. I'm like, that's fine. I'll just, you know.
Yeah, I think there's a good point there as well, is like sort of enjoying your success a little bit. So yeah, you had a great month, but taking the time for yourself to like enjoy that month as well, like enjoying the reward of that rather than just like smashing all the way through and never really taking time to look back and go, you know what, I've had a really good month. I can take a week off to enjoy my life. Because reselling plus YouTube is a big commitment. Like I definitely take my hat off to people that can do it on a regular basis. So yeah, it's pretty impressive. Colby's asking, sell those stereos, Josh. Sold my first big item DVD to PC VCR and was $110 sale. Paid
$3.
Yeah, my friend, I don't know, you guys probably see him on Instagram, Profit Monsters or Drew Thrifts and Flips. He's the literal monster. I don't understand how he does it. Like he's a real estate agent too, so he's not even like 100% like eBay and YouTube. And he has 2 kids, a wife, and he just like sources and lists and sells everything on every platform. And he just exhausts me. He and Joey Bada Bing came to visit me that one time, and me and Joey were just like, oh, man, I'm kind of tired. He's like, dude, let's go. We got like 4 stores to hit. I'm like, I'm just kind of tired, man. He would literally like buy stuff and list it like in the store and it would sell. And he's like, dude, can I use your printer and like print off this label? I'm like, I guess. he sold more stuff while he was here than I sold.
Wow. It's hitting that thrift wall. We usually thrift on weekends because I still have a full-time job. But we head out early in the morning. By about 2-3 o'clock, man, I'm ready to have a nap. So anyone that can push past that, I take them out of them because that's insane.
Yeah.
Hey guys, thanks for value given. Curious from your experience, what's the best way to wear a GoPro when filming? I like to get a point of view angle while I'm looking at stuff.
Well, Josh saw someone the other day who had it just mounted on their head. That was so bold.
Where do you put yours, Josh, on the chest? Or?
Yeah, I think for the best angle, like a chest mount would be the best. It's looks like this, and you just kind of wear it right there. I think that's ideal. Because when I wear mine clipped to my backpack, so the GoPro's like off my right shoulder. So when I'm like looking at things in the thrift store, I have to like turn it at an angle to get them
like comes across.
So I think it like if I'm like having a garage sale or something, I'd probably wear a chest mount. But this is just more attention grabbing than like just having on a backpack strap.
I've got mine on my right shoulder when I go to garage sales because I'm like, if it's right in the middle of my chest, people are going to see it. And I'm like, not that I'm concerned, but I'm like, if I don't have to explain to someone what I'm doing, then better. I think chest mount or shoulder mount definitely works best. What was the outcome of your yard sale? You had that on your list.
For all the bits and bobs.
Yeah, how'd you go with that?
Is that an Australian saying, bits and bobs?
Yeah, must be.
Bits and bobs. Yeah, it's something that gets sold.
At the actual sale, I think we made $316, and then I sold everything left in the unit for $100. We made $416, and we'd already made all of our money back and then some. So everything was 100% profit, which made accounting really easily for the yard sale. I guess I was disappointed because the first yard sale we made over $1,000, but we also had like some really like high ticket items. Like I had the rest of those video games, like the Magnavox Odyssey and just a bunch of video game bits and bobs that I think we sold for like $200. I sold a hunting bow for like $80. So at this last yard sale, there were no high ticket items. Everything was Goodwill pallet leftovers. So I think $416 for literally a bunch of junk that if I didn't sell it, I was going to throw it in the garbage, honestly.
And you get to stop paying storage.
Yeah.
Well, this was it wasn't like a storage facility. So my friend, like the warehouse in the back of the video, he rents that warehouse and he like has the ability to use those storage units for his warehouse as like part of his lease. So I was just like subleasing those 2 units from him. Like it was just like a friend thing, which is how I was able to have the sale at the unit. I had a bunch of people comment on the video and they're like, how does your storage unit let you have a yard sale there? That's crazy. I'm like, well, it's not a storage unit.
It's the connections you want, hey? Those sorts of things. That's awesome. Dwayne's saying you don't want to become a chore, enjoy your life. Yeah, absolutely.
Also, you want to have a good balance. Like I'm naturally an entrepreneur, but I'm also naturally very lazy. Like I'm like, okay, we made a lot of money this month. Let's take a week off. But you can't do that every month. If you take a week off every month after you have a good month, you're not going to have good months anymore. So you have to find a balance. I'm much more passionate about YouTube and like video creation than I am with like listing things on eBay. Like that's what I need to be motivated on. Like I'll post on Instagram. Like if I need to list stuff, I'm like, all right, guys, here's my current listings. If I don't get 30 things listed today, I'll give away $100 because with Instagram content, it makes people curious. Am I going to hit it? And I'm like, if I don't hit it, it's going to cost me $100. So I better do it. But I don't have to do stuff like that for YouTube because I thoroughly enjoy the process of filming, editing, and uploading videos. So if you have a part of your business that you're not motivated, you can either outsource it, pay somebody else to do it for you, or try to come up with creative ways to incentivize yourself to get it done.
That was my very next question is what things do you outsource and what things are you passionate about and you would never outsource?
Yeah. Honestly, I wish I could outsource my entire eBay business. Like if I could just source and just pay other people to like clean, list, organize, ship, everything like that, I would. It's just not, it's a job, like they say, do something you love. Like, yeah, but I don't know anybody that loves every aspect of their job. Maybe, I don't know, even if you're a doctor or like a police officer or something that you really enjoy doing, Like you might, like a doctor might really enjoy doing the surgery, but then you got to like deal with like your insurance and the bureaucracy of everything. There's parts to every job that you're not going to enjoy. Again, I'm super, super blessed, but if I could, I would outsource everything. Right now, I have a lady at my church who was like, she sells on eBay part-time, and she like jokingly asked if I needed help one day. I'm like, yeah, sure. You can come, because she already knew how to list. She already knew how to take photos. I didn't have to train her. I was, just gave her my eBay login. So she comes one day a week and helps me list stuff. She didn't come this week because I was suspended, but I pay her like a per listing. I was $1.50, but now I bumped her up to $2 because Drew, the thrifts and flips, made me feel bad. Like, all this money and you're paying her $1.50 per item. You're such a cheapskate. He was just joking, but I was like, what if I am a cheapskate?
Well, having that help is pretty cool. And I think we've noticed, like, Jazzy went full-time 6-7 months ago now.
Yeah, March. Well, yeah, when the pandemic shut everything down.
Yeah, and having one of us being able to spend more time on eBay, so help, really has helped us uplift our sales. So having a way of either getting help or using, friends or family to support your business is
slave
awesome.
labor. Great.
Slave labor. Do you think going forward you're going to be sort of looking at trying to get more people involved to grow, or are you sort of happy at the level that you're at and just sort of tick along and keep growing YouTube?
Yeah, so I think that's a really good question, because if you're only thinking about eBay, like if it's just a reselling business, obviously it would make sense for you to outsource everything, pay people to run your business, and just take a smaller profit margin and then take that profit and buy another business and keep doing that, like strictly from a business standpoint. But when you factor in the YouTube and the content that you need to provide your audience, the content that your audience has been accustomed to, if I outsource everything and like build my eBay business into like this $1 million a year corporation, nobody's going to care about my YouTube videos anymore, because I think the biggest thing that draws people to my channel is that most people can relate to me, because I'm just some dude who sells on eBay. There's nothing special about me. So I think if you get to a point where you're starting to do, like, I've seen it on other channels, they get into like huge wholesale buys, or they get a big warehouse, or do all this crazy stuff. And when you start doing stuff like that to make more money in your reselling business, you're going to lose some of your YouTube audience. The bigger you get in reselling, the less relatable you're going to be, and the less your YouTube audience is going to care about you. Most people that watch my videos are part-time resellers, or people that don't even resell, that like big resellers that have a huge business. They don't even watch YouTube. They're just focused on they don't watch. I mean, they might watch YouTube, but they don't watch resellers, So I'm thinking that if I keep my reselling business in my garage, like get rid of the storage unit, have like 1,000 listings max, and just run my business with me and one other person helping 1 or 2 days a week, that'll keep my business profitable, and still relatable enough to where I can scale my YouTube channel. Like a reselling business that makes $10,000 a month paired with a YouTube channel that makes $20,000 to $40,000 a month is a great business. I would much rather do that than build my eBay business to make $50,000 a month. Like you're making the same amount of money either way, but the 80% YouTube, 20% eBay route is what I want to shoot for.
Yeah, and I think being open about that and sort of explaining to people that that's your goal, like people are going to come along with that journey with you, because they're like, supporting your business and supporting you as a person, rather than sort of just going in that direction without sort of telling people that's what you're going to do. So I think sharing that with people is what keeps people around you and supporting you. So this is actually Jazzy's auntie who lives in Colorado Springs saying, love the bear on the door.
Thank you. I got it at Hobby Lobby.
We don't know what that is, but hopefully Carrie does.
Hobby Lobby. It's like a, I always thought it was like a hobby shop, but it's more like a interior design shop, I guess. I don't know. They just sell a bunch of like stuff for your house, like wall decor and small furniture, Christmas decorations. They do have some craft supplies and like hobby stuff, like model cars and things.
She definitely knows what it is.
It's home decor.
I'm absolutely loving your office at the moment, and you've inspired me, because our office and the space I'm working in, it's horrible. I open the door and throw things in, and it's trashed. And I was watching your Was it on the live that you did a little tour?
I think I talked about it in my live a little bit, but the next video is where I gave the full tour. And I think that's super important to have it. Like, I don't know, if your workspace is like all cramped up and you just like sometimes when I have like a big shipping day and there's boxes in here, now that the wall is closed in, like it gets really cramped and I get stressed out. But once everything is taken to the post office and cleared out and clean, it just makes you feel good. So having a space that you're proud of and it feels cozy is much more, it's going to motivate you to get more work done. Like if you're constantly worried about the mess in the corner, then you're just going to be distracted and you're not going to be as productive as you could be.
That's me right now.
Yeah, we had to clean out. We got a couple of spare rooms, and we had a whole bunch of stock in the end room. We had to clean it out to get the parents in the other day. But just being able to move that out to the shed sort of freed up a little bit of mental space as well. So I think it is hard to keep everything neat and tidy like that. So if you're able to do it, definitely keep on top of it, because it's tough once you get that death pile rolling and you sort of go and get back to it.
That's why I like too that I separated like my I have all my eBay like inventory in the garage, and then the office is just for like YouTube, like filming and editing, and I do my shipping in here because I don't want to do my shipping in the garage. But I don't know, you just got to find something that works for you. I think investing a little bit of time and some elbow grease and a little bit of for here, like the mirror that I put up was like $50. And that's probably the most expensive thing I bought. The paint was like $30 for 1 gallon. The chair was $40. That table was $6. The other table was like $20. So I don't know. It doesn't take a lot of money, but just put some time and effort into making your space what you want it to look like.
Definitely. Yeah, I think that's something that we're going to sort of be focusing on coming up, because we kind of moved into this house and then everything got put everywhere, and we never really got to like design it in a way that was efficient. So we're slowly like designing in ways that are starting to work for us. But I think it does take a while to work out a process, especially in a new space, of like incoming stock, listing stock, out stock. So
I loved the tour. How does Hayley deal with bringing things in? Are there things in the house, and what's her stance on it?
Yeah. So when I first started reselling, like when I was still working my old job, I would go to like the bins after work, Goodwill bins after work, and I come home with these like big. They give you big like kind of clear trash bags, not quite clear. What's the word? Opaque, transient.
Opaque, yeah.
Opaque, I guess. And then it would just be like a huge bag, and I'd come in like, "Hey, how was your day?" And she's like, "What is that? Why is it in my living room?" But she slowly stopped seeing it as junk and started seeing it as profit. You know, as I started selling more and more of the things. So she doesn't even blink an eye now. Like she has her. We're doing like a home gym out in the garage now. So if there's stuff in her way, she'll just like push it over into the eBay side and she'll work out. So she's, I think what helped with her is that I signed her into eBay on her cell phone. So anytime I was selling stuff, she was getting the notifications. So, and that was a huge help. She's like, "Oh, we sold 5 things today." I'm like, "Yeah. I sell that stuff all the time. You just never know." Like she hears the cha-chings on her phone more than she hears me saying we sold 5 things today.
Yeah, I think having that visual. Yeah,
sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, I think having that visual really makes a difference, because the same with Jazz. Like when I first started,
very similar story.
Jazz is like, "What's all this crap in our lounge room?" And I'm like, "This is money. This is money." Like
it's not.
But actually seeing that come through is it definitely changed perspectives. Is Hayley sort of looking at getting more involved in your business, or is she sort of staying with what she's doing? Or?
I don't know. I think ideally, if she joined full time and like got more comfortable on camera, like her biggest holdback is like she's not super comfortable on camera right now. Like I would love to do like a weekly podcast with her. Like that's something where she could still like, you know, talk and we could have like an interesting conversation without her having to be on camera. That's just something. She's getting more and more comfortable, obviously. Like if you go back and watch older videos and like see her grow on there, but she's not nearly as outgoing as I am, especially not on camera. So I don't know if she quit her job to do full time. I don't know that there'd be enough for her to do you know, it's like she could list, but you can only list for a couple hours a day before you get tired, you know? So I'm like, what else? If you don't want to be in YouTube videos and you get tired of listing, you know, there's nothing else to do. So
it's fun that time to fill those gaps.
It's always cool to see her when she does come on.
Yeah. And I tell her that. She's like, are people going to be mean to me? I was like, no, Haley, everybody loves you. Everybody loves when you and Mose, if I have a video with you and Mose in it, I get so many positive comments. So I don't know. She's just like really scared that people are going to be mean to her. I'm like, some people might be mean, but nobody's been mean yet, and everybody loves you. So
yeah. Kirsty's saying, can Mose say hello?
I think Haley has him in the bedroom sleeping, probably. But he would come if he could.
Here's Profit Monster now. Thanks for coming. Tawsy Thrifters, did you sell all those jeans?
Oh, which ones? Because we keep buying more.
Jeans, but yeah, they're definitely selling through here and there, which is good.
We love the denim.
So we've just gone through the hour mark, so I don't want to take up too much more of your time, Josh, but I did want to thank you very much for giving us some of your time and being open to come on and chat with us. Really appreciate your support. And yeah, I guess before we head off, maybe just give a little bit of some info about what's coming up on the channel so people can come over and have a look. There is a link in the bio. If you guys haven't gone over, I'm sure everyone in Australia has subbed to you, because I hear,
just in case there could be someone brand new in the chat. I
hear your name get thrown around a lot, which is awesome. So yeah, what's coming up in the next sort of week for Hairy Tornado?
I'm not sure. I filmed a video today when I went to Charlotte. It'll be like a little thrifting vlog, nothing too fancy. Tomorrow, pretty sure I'm going to go to Dream Deals and film from the employee perspective and get that one done. Tomorrow after that, I might go open another pallet and film that. So I don't know which video is going to be out first, but I've got a lot in the works. So definitely check out the channel if you haven't already.
Diary Flipper dropped the link there for you as well.
Thank you, Brad.
So yeah, thank you very much for joining us, Josh. And yeah, we really appreciate all the content you put out. And I know a lot of Aussies come over and watch you, so I'm sure there'll be a few more popping over to say g'day. But yeah, hopefully we'll get to talk to you again at some point. And yeah, we really appreciate everyone coming along on this middle of the day in Australia. So yeah, thanks for all the new people coming by. Make sure you drop a thumbs up for Josh coming on. And we will see you next time on Tawsy Thrifters. Do you have anything you want to say before we head off, Josh, at all?
G'day, mate.
All right, guys. Thanks, everyone, for coming, and we'll see you next time on Tawsy Thrifters.
Bye for now.